So today I'd like to take from you the question, what am I supposed to do? Like, what am I supposed to be doing? I'm going to take it from you today so that you don't ask it anymore. Our discussion is going to be about authority. And in particular, we're going to discuss how you go from outsourcing your authority, which is to look to other people as a source of authority, looking to other people to tell you what to do, how to live your life, in the form of speakers, gurus, teachers, books, both modern and ancient, any of that, and replacing it with the insourcing of your wisdom, receiving wisdom from yourself and being able to trust that you can in fact do this and that it's good and proper and safe to do it. So moving from outsourcing to insourcing your authority. As you can imagine, this is a crucial, central discussion on how to manifest your potential, to actualize your potential. Because if you're just going around thinking that everybody has the answer, that somebody else out there, that there's some piece of information out there that you're missing that's preventing you from stepping into the fullness of your potential and moving up your evolutionary path, well, then we have a real big problem on our hands, don't we? And it's a really sneaky problem too, because even as I started creating this for you, I started brainstorming and thinking about what I wanted to say. And I fell into this trap of asking like, all right, well, how should I position this? How should I do it so that you'll pay attention and hit like and comment? And how can I make this succeed? And as soon as I started asking that, I started remembering the different authorities that I've listened to over the years, the business teachers, YouTube gurus, and so forth. And they'll give all sorts of advice that is pretty commonplace at this point, like, open with a good, catchy hook and make sure that your talk is structured and is entertaining, etc., etc., etc. But then once I started doing that right, once I started trying to do it in the way that I've been advised to make a video, I immediately started to feel dull and confused and kind of irritated and lost. And it started to feel like a homework project that I no longer wanted to do. And I felt distracted and I started opening up new tabs on my browser and just started to spiral out from there until I remembered I know what I'm doing. I know how to do this. So that's what we're going to do today. If we've never met before, my name is Brent. Good to meet you. I coach people on self-actualization, and there's a link below to learn more about it. So, why should you listen? Why should you care about this? Well, if you're tired of being confused all the time, if you're tired of feeling lost and powerless, if you're tired of feeling stuck, then this is an essential thing to look at. And the core of this is that you are asking false questions. To ask, what am I supposed to do, is a false question. This means that it doesn't matter what answers you get as a result of asking this question. The answers will be false because they came from a false question. Because the question presupposes that you're supposed to do it right, or that there's a right way of doing it. And there is kind of a right way of doing it, but the right way is much more aligned with your sense of desire, as we'll discuss a little bit more. So there is a right way to do it, but you know what that right way is. And if I can convince you of that, then finding the right way is a lot easier from there. So you're constantly disempowering yourself, confusing yourself. Actions that you take from this place of outsourcing your authority also come out as weak and ineffectual. I wonder if you've ever found in your own life where you outsourced your authority and did something the way somebody else said you should, even though it kind of feels weird, and then you do it, and then the results that come as a result of these actions are sort of lackluster, and they don't really work, they don't really gel, they feel wrong for you, and it's just ineffective. So we're going to get you into a place of effectiveness so that what you do works. So here are a list of examples of questions that you ask that signal that you're outsourcing your authority. So this is how you know that you're doing it and how bad it's become. In no particular order. Here we go. Is this a good morning routine? Is this the right habit for me right now? Am I a night person or a morning person? Is astrology real? What's my purpose? How do I find fulfillment? What am I here to do with my life? What college major should I choose? How do I make money? How do I succeed at business? How do I find a partner? Should I stay with my partner or leave them? Should I hustle and grind or just chill? Shall I participate in capitalism or go off grid? Should I invest in Bitcoin or stocks or gold? And so in the case of all of these, it's possible for you to do some research. Let's look at that last one. Should I invest in Bitcoin, gold, or stocks? You can do some research and you can read some of the experts who have things to say about investing, how to invest in a smart way. And there is information that you can have, and it's useful information. But even now we begin with, okay, which thinkers should I follow? Who should I read? Because there are tons and tons of books and tons of thinkers and speakers out there on this subject. And so in order to make this first decision, you may already fall into this trap of, who should I listen to? And so our idea here is to move into, who do I want to listen to? Who is appealing to me? Because you are making this decision in the dark, aren't you? You don't know what you don't know. And so all you have to go on is what feels correct for you. And there's a link between what's true and the way it feels physically in the body. And so you may find there's a speaker who you just watched like a little clip of them and you liked what they had to say and it kind of felt sort of interesting and it kind of felt open and sort of sparked your curiosity. That is a signal that this information is appropriate for you. And it's a signal that this information will move you further along your evolutionary path. Now, there are other speakers out there that you don't jive with, but if they know, say, a lot of good marketing tactics, then they will present their material as something that you kind of have to learn. And they may even say it's like, you have to learn this. You can't not know this. It's unsafe not to know this stuff. And then it feels intuitively wrong for you. It kind of betrays your body a little bit, but you feel obligated to. You get sucked into the obligation. This is false. This is unhelpful for your evolutionary path. So the main idea, what I most wish to communicate to you here is that you know what truth is. You know how to tell what truth is. You are a discerner of truth and a speaker of truth. You know how to speak truth. You know how to hear truth. You know how to know that something's true. And the leap that I'm inviting you to make right now is to know this. Because this leap is a very unique one in that you can't really do it incrementally. You can't do it gradually. It's just a 0 to 1 jump. It's just a decision that you make somewhere along the way. It can't be done for you. Because let's just say I told you, like, yes, like, you know, like, you should make that leap right now. This is the right idea. This is good for you. Do it right now. And you did it. You would be doing it on my authority and not your own. And then the process would be somewhat perverted. It wouldn't be correct. You wouldn't get all the way to going from outsourcing your authority to insourcing it. You would always be borrowing my authority in order to do it because you don't trust yourself. Here's a really good example. So I started coaching in 2017, and then very soon I found teachers who were teaching how to coach well and also how to like sell your services. And I would buy some of their products and go through the material, and it was really good. It created great results for me and my clients, and it was like totally fine. But then somewhere along the way, I actually noticed that I didn't really want to listen to these teachers so much anymore. And so I just kind of stopped tuning into them. But the result of that was that I was now on my own as a coach. And so if I ran into somebody and said, oh yeah, like I coach people, and they were to say, what is that? I would explain, and they go like, oh, well, is it a real thing? Is this something that people actually do? Does it actually work? Does it actually create results? And I realized in these moments a little bit later on that I had to stand on my own authority. Instead of borrowing these people's authority, I had to say for myself, like, yes, it's real. It's something that happens. It's something that creates results. And here's why, and here's how it works. And so the part of where it's the issue of its legitimacy and validity, I had to create for my own self. And once I learned to do that for myself, then my presence in the world and my authority as a coach took on a whole new meaning. This was a very interesting thing. I always felt along the way that I never wanted to borrow authority from a person or even an institution, because it's possible to graduate from a school. Like, there are coaching schools, and there are of course like degrees and diplomas that you can get in other things, where when you come out of it, you know that you're the real thing. You go from feeling like an imposter to a real thing because you've been accredited, and you can borrow this other person's or this other institution's authority. And this is fine as long as you're not, as long as it's fine with you, right? It's not like you have to learn how to insource your authority. But it's not the same. It's different. And for me personally, I really wanted to learn how to insource. Now, so you make this leap into being a person who knows how to discern truth and how to speak truth. And you do it by simply declaring that you can. That truth is not some sort of proprietary thing out there for the philosophers, for the scientists, for the teachers, for the religious figures. It's you. It doesn't belong to anybody else. It belongs to you. You know what truth is. You know how to detect it. And your body knows how to detect it. Like, again, there's this massive relationship between your body and truth. Your body knows what's bullshit, especially on things that matter. And I say this because, like, I could tell you that the CN Tower is 552 meters tall. And I can tell you that the CN Tower is 553 meters tall. Which one is true? Right? So on things of less consequence, it's a little bit more difficult. But of things of great consequence, it's very easy. The answer, by the way, is 553. But there's also a new challenge that comes online when you make this leap that we're talking about. I know what truth is. I know what truth is. I know what is the truth. Is that now it is on you to be vigilant for self-deception. Because now self-deception has a bigger role to play in your life. And as you learn about the different ways that you deceive yourself, those ways that you deceive yourself will get subtler and subtler as time goes on. I do not suggest ever anticipating finding a place where you are free of self-deception, where it is no longer a threat to you. And instead, along with your decision that you can discern what truth is, you make similarly a commitment to truth. You actually turn truth into a priority, if you haven't done so already, a value. And not just any old priority or any old value, but a real priority, an extremely high priority, right up there with love, with wellness, whatever is like your highest priority. I suggest now, if you're doing this with me, that truth is up there, that you're committed to truth above that which you wish were true, that which you want to be true. And as long as that's there, then what you can do is have moments where you check in. Matt Kahn has spoken about this. Leo Gura also, from Actualize.org, not to borrow these guys' authority, but to kind of talk about how different people come at it, talk all the time about checking in to make sure that what you say is true. What I'll notice, for example, when I speak with you over these videos is that every once in a while I make like I'll be just speaking and then I sort of stumble across something that I'm not totally sure is true or not. In which case I won't say it, and because it just feels weird in my body to say something that I don't know, feels strange and I don't like it. Or I'll say it and then I'll put an asterisk on it where I go, here's the limit of what I know to be true, for sure, so that you can know that too. So you check in with yourself, you make sure that you're being truthful, you make sure that you're aligned with truth, and only speak and act in a way that your body rejoices, that causes your body to rejoice, that moves in the direction of your body feeling expanded and centered and safe and relieved. And then you move forward with your authority. And now with this authority, you can say what's what. You can make claims. This is this. That is that. And we can take any of these other questions. Is astrology real? Well, there is a whole body of work that will say it's not real. And there's a whole other body of work that will say it's real. And it's up to you. It's up to you. That doesn't feel so good, does it? Right? And here's the thing, is that you can accept astrology as true, and then it will become true for you, and it will become useful for you, like really useful for you. You'll get revelations and insight and value, real value from it. And then you go the other way where it's not true, and you'll get the same. So it's up to you. And then what you may find is, because despite what I said just now, you may decide on a very deep level that you just feel attracted to astrology. You just want to go into it. You want to be an astrologer. You want to read charts. It calls to you. It speaks to you. It's what you want. That's your desire. That's your intuition. And then you may find at a certain point that you exhaust the utility of it. You may or you may not. But you may find, okay, I want to expand. I want to find other forms of divination. You'll do that. Or you may want to move back into a science place. You may in honesty notice where you feel like you are anti-science, where, like, this happened to me for a long time because I spent so much of my youth in occult, like channeled kind of material. I loved it so much, still do. And then like science would come along and say, oh, this isn't real. And then I would just find myself in a vaguely anti-science position. And it kind of, whenever science would come up, I'd find myself contracting. And then in my commitment to truth, I realized I have a shadow aspect around science. There's something in me that is irritated by science in a way that represents me not being totally mature. This is a lack of maturity on my part. And so I need to look at what I'm against. I need to look at what triggers me and to find the missing hidden value there. This is what my intuition told me. To my great benefit. So you can listen to authority figures still, but the idea here is to realize that these people, like the first leap that we make, the first decision that we make is that these people are not above us. Like when you put somebody above you, then you put their authority above yours, and then it creates the problems that we're discussing here. But then you can move even beyond that and remember that these people are you. They are you. In that you may notice, if you're being honest, that something that you intuit is true, you just can't accept it as true until it comes from somebody else. Like, what's a secret theory or insight that you have that you're just waiting for somebody to say, where you go, that's it, right? What are you waiting for me to say right now so that you can go, oh, I knew it. That's what I was thinking. Can you say it on your own? Can you say it of your own accord now? Can you make your own claims now of truth? So when it comes to making a YouTube video, right, there's a part of me that feels tempted to ask, okay, what am I supposed to do in order to make this succeed? But I feel alienated from myself when I do that. Whereas instead, when I ask, okay, how do I want to speak? How do I want to present this? Let's just suppose for a minute I knew exactly what I was doing. And let's just say not only that, but I was a teacher for like other people about how to make really successful, interesting videos and talks and discourses. What would I say to them? And now, positioning myself as authority, I'm making this in the way that makes sense to me, that feels correct for me. And it just feels so natural, right? This is just a total delight to sit here and speak with you this way. And I know that there's value. And I know this because I know what it's like to take other people's art in, to listen to people speak about their ideas, or even just to take in their art or expose myself to their business or whatever, where it's just inspired. I can tell they're in touch with themselves. It just feels like magic. And it's so thirst quenching in a way. It's so what I'm looking for. It's so much what I need when I can expose myself to the messaging and art of people who are in touch with their own authority. So I want to close out with a few methods. These are my tried and true methods that you can use to insource your authority as you make this transition. So on one hand, there's this one and done transition where you decide for yourself, I know what truth is like. I know how to discern truth. I know what I'm doing. 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 But here are some methods also that will help you. The first one I already gave you a little bit earlier, but to make it official, what do I hope the answer is? So if you're caught in a question and you don't know what to do and you're consulting authority after authority, imagine I had this envelope and in the envelope was the fucking answer, like the answer of answers from the highest authority that you could possibly imagine. This is going to end the entire thing right now. And just before I open it and give you the answer, what do you hope it is? Okay? That's what you go with. That's number one. Number two is, if you're kind of on the fence about something, look at the difference between the should and the want. Sometimes it's very strong and sometimes it's very subtle, but almost always you'll find that there's one option or one pathway that's kind of like what you feel like you're supposed to do. It's what your mind wants you to do. It's what your safety mechanism wants you to do. It's like, it would be a little bit more of a sure thing if I go this way. But what's the want? By contrast, the want is like, this is the thing I kind of want to do. If they were the same thing, then you wouldn't be here in the first place. You just do it. You wouldn't have thought about it. So there's a difference. Number three, just get good at distinguishing between the mind and intuition. So the mind speaks in terms of survival. The mind speaks in terms of safety. The mind speaks in terms of how to make sure. How can I know? How can I be in control? The mind doesn't really feel inspired. The mind just like to do what the mind says, to follow the mind's point of view is to kind of feel sort of dull. Just feels kind of dull and like a drag and like you're doing something you've already done. And then by contrast, the intuition speaks in terms of inspiration and curiosity and wonder and joy. And it speaks very softly and it says, I'm interested in that. I want to do this. I want to go there. I'm curious about this. It's very light, very playful, speaks in very simple sentences, and does not impose itself in any way. It just kind of waits patiently. Another one is to look for recurring fractals. So, I'm not sure exactly how this plays in, but I'll just say it anyway. It's like this feeling when you're about to launch into something and you're like, here we go again. I kind of know how this is going to end. You already know how it's going to end. And you convince yourself otherwise. It's like you're about to get into this argument with your spouse, or you're about to try making your art in a way that's just not working for you, but you feel like it should. You're just banging your head against the wall because this is supposed to work, even though it doesn't, right? So it's like you already know how it's going to end up, and you go through the whole thing, and it's painful, and you get spat out on the other side, and you're like, what the fuck was all that about? So being honest about where you're just in recurring fractals. And then finally, affirmations, tried and true affirmations. Just say to yourself, with this authority that we're establishing here, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. I know how to succeed. I know how to make this work. This is doable for me. This is doable. I know how to do this, and I know how to learn to do this if there's anything I don't know how to do. And so as a result of internalizing all this, I want to say one more time, you can still go to authority figures and learn from teachers, but now you don't give your authority away to the teachers. You don't put the teachers above you. You take it in, you take in what you like, you get rid of what you don't like, and you don't try to create your reality through anybody's frame. This is such a high fidelity way of living your life because you just take what you want, what appeals to you, what makes sense, what feels physically correct for you, and go with it. And doing it this way, standing on your own 2 feet, it makes you so powerful. And then now move along the path of your evolutionary journey, and everything changes for reasons that I hope are now clear. Please hit like on that video for me. So grateful would I be. Consider commenting to tell me what you've learned from this, if it was useful, and if you have another question, anything I can follow up on. Check out my links below if you're interested in the one-on-one coaching that I offer. Also, my discounted coaching group called the Sovereign Creators Collective. We have been talking about this for a long time. We have this big body of work on the transition from outsourcing to insourcing authority that you can just draw upon. It's this big resource that's available for you now. And finally, I have a free PDF on how to self-actualize if you opt into my email list. Thank you very much. Catch you on the next one.